And welcome to Sport This Morning. I'm Cecilia Amoglu.
It's great to have you join us again. I'm Taya Salam.
Okay.
All right, this is what the show is looking like. I was starting off with the beach soccer AFCON going on in Egypt at the moment. Nigeria's Super Saiyan Eagles are through to the final after they defeated the host nation in a very pulsating encounter. Cecilia, that was a very, very, very exciting and tight match. Exactly.
Yep. 7-6 it ended. You know what it means too? You needed a ticket to go to the World Cup and you're playing against the host nation, and they did that in a very, very, you said the word,
pulsating. That's what it was.
That's what they did for the Super Saiyan Eagles. And of course, they also threw to the finals of the CAF Soccer Beach. So
of the World Cup.
Of the World Cup.
Of the World Cup.
To the finals, and also they are in Paraguay right now.
And
that's the spirit and that's the feeling for the Super Saiyan Eagles.
Fantastic.
Also in the program, talking about upset this time around in the UEFA Champions League. Find these two teams are through to the last 16, but no one expected this to happen. The young boys had to teach Juventus football lesson. 2-1 in Ede, and CSK Moscow stunned Real Madrid, and it happened right there at the Spanish capital, Santiago Bernabeu. That was where it happened. 3 goals to nothing. And even when Solari had to throw in some big boys, Toni Kroos and Gareth Bale, they just couldn't do anything about that. They even considered more after both of them came in.
Bad loss for Real Madrid. As a matter of fact, that was the worst loss in the UEFA Champions League at home. For the young boys, fantastic result for them. No one saw them defeating the old lady. So the young boys getting one over the old lady. You know what they say about football being a game for the young. You know?
Okay, now the guy who scored the first goal is actually a 30-year-old man.
Yeah, so
34.
So it's not exactly young.
Precisely, who scored from the penalty spot. He's a 34.
Fantastic result there. So congratulations to these two sides, even though they failed to progress into the round of 16 of the UEFA Champions League. Also on the show this time, the NBA. We saw what was likely to be the preview of the NBA Finals later next year, when the Toronto Raptors took on the Golden State Warriors, and it was the Raptors emerging victorious yet again. That's the second time now that they defeated the Golden State Warriors, so they've completed a season sweep of the defending champions, the Toronto Raptors. I don't know how much meaning we can read into this one, but it's safe to say
the Raptors
have laid down the marker. They've laid down the marker.
That's it. I mean, they're the team to watch it for in the Western Conference.
You beat the Warriors twice?
Twice.
Really? Home and away?
Yep. You call it what? A season series sweep.
Wow.
Yeah. That's what it is. That's what it's all about. But that's where we're starting from this morning. When you have this great result, I mean, 113 and 93. Sometimes there are ways you lose. I mean, maybe losing by 1 point or 2 points. But this time around, it was much. It was a rout. I mean, romping, just Oakland right there in California. I
know. We'll get back to Warriors and the Raptors in a bit now. But first of all, a lot of games are played in the NBA, about 11 of them, and some of the results are just simply, mind-boggling, you'd say. Let's start with the results first of all before we go and talk about the Warriors and the Toronto Raptors. The OKC Thunder were in action, Cecilia. They took on the Pelicans. That's the New Orleans Pelicans. Anthony Davis was once again dominant in this game.
40-plus points.
Helping them to a 118-114 victory over the OKC Thunder. The Pelicans have been a bit inconsistent this season, but they've got a very solid roster, and on their day, they can beat anyone. Let's move on to the Celtics and the Wizards. And it was the Celtics, Boston Celtics, winning 130-125. That match went into overtime, and it was just a 5-point win there for the Boston Celtics.
Breaking 31.3.
Kyrie Irving was the man in that game. Actually, he scored Boston's last 12 points of the game. So fantastic results and performance by Kyrie Irving. We'll take a look at his numbers later on the show. The Hawks and the Mavericks, 114-107 in favor of the Mavericks. The Hawks are just simply bad. A horrendous side this season. They will likely be in the lottery, barring any miracle. The Pistons faced up against the Hornets, and it was Hornets winning 108-107. Jeremy Lamb knocking down a 22-foot jumper from the right wing with just 0.3 seconds left on the clock. Fantastic 1-point win there.
Absolutely.
Is there a better way to win a game than winning it with the last shot?
Just the last shot. 3 seconds left. And you're in it.
Wow, fantastic. I imagine the fans were on the edge throughout that particular game. The Cavaliers, surprisingly for me, defeated
New York Knicks.
the Knicks 113-106.
And Rodney Hood was the one who hit a goal ahead jumper with just 23.7 seconds left.
Fantastic.
And that was also a close game too.
Close game, yeah. Rodney Hood, the hero for the Cavs in that victory. The Nets faced up against the 76ers, and it was a 127-124 win for the Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn, we go hard. Spencer doing these the career nights in that game to help his side emerge on top the 76ers. The Blazers lost against the Grizzlies 83-92. Mike Conley leading that late rally for the Grizzlies and to top Portland. The Bucks and the Pacers, it was Indiana winning 113-97. Pacers winning their 5th straight game by pulling away from the Bucks in that particular game. Miami and the Jazz, it was a 111-84 annihilation of the Miami Heat by Utah. Donovan Mitchell helping the Jazz.
Points there,
Exactly, and Miami are kind of short-handed at the moment, so
Absolutely.
that loss is not exactly a surprise. The Timberwolves and the Kings, was the Kings winning 141-130. The Kings made 19 three-pointers in this game. Cecilia, that's remarkable. 19 three-pointers.
Like the Warriors now. That's where we normally see something like
They're
that.
shooting lights out. They're shooting lights out. So congratulations to the Sacramento Kings. And last but not the least, this is the one that's going to get us talking. The Raptors and the Warriors. And it was a 113-93 annihilation of the Golden State Warriors by the Toronto Raptors. And like we said at the start of the show, they've now completed a season sweep of the Warriors. And a lot of people expecting these two sides to go all the way to the NBA championship.
Yeah,
there's a reason, because if you look at the Toronto Raptors and Cecilia, they have an amazing season. Ever since Kawhi came into the side, he's hit the ground running, and they've been playing real good basketball. Their record this season is 23-7. That's an NBA best. So they're blowing everyone out of the water. Draymond Green, I still saw him there, couldn't really help the side win that particular game. This one is a lot more impressive because they've done it without Kawhi Leonard.
That's the thing. I mean, just look at how Kyle Lowry was able to get something out of it. 23 points he had in that early run. At the end of the day, he had 12 assists. Also, Serge Ibaka having 20 points in this one, 12 rebounds, recording that double-double, helping Toronto Raptors just kind of snap that 13-game losing streak at Golden State Warriors. Remember, when was the last time they actually won there? 2004. But Kevin Durant led all scorers with just 30 points.
Yeah, didn't say just.
Okay, now, because I've had guys on the 9 who got as much as 40 points, so his is just.
Just now, well, now, come on. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. 30 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists on the night. Not enough.
Not enough.
That's because Steph Curry and Klay Thompson just didn't do enough
at all
to help him. You know, and was a very comfortable victory for the Raptors.
And just check most of their big boys on double-double. So that's actually give them the edge.
Exactly. I was going to say that let's not read any meaning into this one. Let's not reach any conclusion.
The conclusion is the Raptors had a season series sweep.
Yeah, that's a straightforward conclusion. But I'm looking at the overall big picture.
See, for instance, maybe they having that Western Conference as well. What you're thinking about?
Nah, I'm just looking at the overall picture. Let's say those two guys eventually go on to play the NBA championship, the NBA finals next year. You'd say the Raptors, as it is right now, have the edge. I say that because the first matchup, there was no Steph Curry was missing in that game, and Draymond Green was
also missing,
and the Raptors won convincingly.
We understand that.
We thought,
but this one again,
they're all back.
Psychological?
I mean, they're all back. The two All-Stars returned, and still it wasn't good enough for the Warriors to top the Toronto Raptors, and that's where I see perhaps the Raptors, you know, knowing psychologically that, okay, we can't beat these guys. We beat them on the court, and perhaps we can't beat them when the NBA final starts. We're getting a bit ahead of ourselves now because they've not qualified.
But let's just see. That's it. I think the Warriors we're seeing right now may not just be the Warriors you will see.
We know the Warriors. Come on.
So somehow they save the best for last.
That's what it looks like to me. Yeah. But for me, as a neutral, I don't want to see a series that is too predictable. I don't want to see the sweep that we saw of the Cavs last year. I want to see a Game 7 if possible.
If possible.
Right. So that's it for the Warriors and the Toronto Raptors. The Raptors winning that game. Let's talk about our standout performers on the night, Cecilia. Let's start off with Kemba Walker.
Yep.
Kemba Walker is having an amazing season for the Charlotte Hornets, and I wonder, is in his prime right now? Okay, those are his numbers on the night: 31, 8, and 9 assists, and was able to help Charlotte win that particular game. I was saying he's having the
season of his life.
Yeah, season of his life, and I just wonder if and how long he's going to remain a Hornet. I think he might have to move on now because this is prime years now. He needs to be challenging for a championship.
So he needs to get the ring.
We'll see how that one pans out eventually. Let's move on to our next performer on the night. His name is Joel Embiid, the Cameroonian center. He was more than decent, as a matter of fact. He scored 33 points, grabbed 17 rebounds, and dished out 6 assists.
Huge numbers.
Big numbers, but not enough to get a win for the Philadelphia 76ers. They lost against the Brooklyn Nets. In that same game, this guy we're going to talk about next, Spencer Dinwiddie, it's not a very popular name for obvious reasons. He's the reserve point guard. He's not
the numbers most times.
Exactly. He's the reserve point guard basically for the Brooklyn Nets. But in this game, he came off the bench to score a career high 39 points. Spencer, wherever you are, take about 39 points, 2 rebounds, and 5 assists for him on the night.
Yeah, that was actually huge for the young lad. I mean, when you have the opportunity to actually come off the bench and make a mark, you really want to make a mark.
That's what you do.
So he did that, and maybe you will see more of him, I think.
Yeah, I think we have to see more of him, definitely. I know D'Angelo Russell is a starting point guard here, but this guy has shown that he has what it takes, the ability as well to, pour in the points for the Brooklyn Nets. Elsewhere, John Wall. Cecilia, we have to talk about John Wall. John Wall had a decent game as well too. On the night, 34.6 rebounds and 13 assists for the Wizards in their game. But they lost against the Celtics. That's because the Celtics have Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving was also on fire for the Boston Celtics. I said he scored their last 12 points of the game. That game went into overtime, and Kyrie finished with 38 points, 3 rebounds, and 7 assists.
That's huge for the Boston Celtics.
Fantastic. The Boston Celtics, a lot of people expect them to be, contending at the very top of the Eastern Conference. It's been an underwhelming up and down season for them. But I fully expect them to be in the top 2 seeds when the season is over. Yeah. Last but not the least is Anthony Davis, the most dominant performance of the night.
Yeah.
Incredible.
This is numbers I'm talking about.
Look at that.
When you're talking about numbers, you talk about this one.
Look at that. 44 points, 18 rebounds. Yeah. That's incredible.
2 assists.
Fantastic. Anthony Davis helping the New Orleans Pelicans to that 4-point win over the OKC Thunder.
I remember against Boston Celtics when they lost the game on Monday, he had 41 points.
It's incredible.
But this time around, he's on the winning side. Which is
if you look at the MVP race, I know it's too early.
Okay, it's too early.
So
I'm not going to bother my head right now. Russell Westbrook is not even there.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
it's not.
So,
well, you look at this guy, you look at Steph Curry, you look at James Harden, you look at LeBron James, you can go on and on and on. Obviously, some of these guys might fade towards the end of the season, but as it is right now, the race for the MVP for the 2018-19 NBA season,
10 players right now
gunning
for that.
Absolutely, you're correct. Okay. All right, so that's it for the NBA now, Cecilia. It's so easy to get carried away when you're talking about the NBA.
Yeah, time is fast spent. Now let's talk about the Super Saiyan Eagles, right? Can we? Okay. Now talking about the Super Saiyan Eagles, for them, they knew what they needed to do. What you have to do, get a win. But it was going to be tough knowing that they're playing against the host nation, Egypt. And they did that in a grand style. And how did they do it? Well, they just went there, They won 7-6, and they are, they booking tickets for the World Cup in Paraguay. And not only that, they qualified for the final. They're going to face the winner of today's game between Morocco and, of course, Senegal. Go for a break now. We'll come back. We'll talk more on that.